I'm Nicholas Kuhner, founder of Wunderbrand, and we're going to deep dive into the world of branding, digital marketing, and entrepreneurship. My career includes working with some of the world's top brand and advertising agencies, as well as working at brands like Nando's, MTV, and Comedy Central, where for 20 years I've honed my expertise in building brands in emerging markets. Based here in Oslo, I lecture on digital marketing, helping the next generation of marketers navigate this dynamic world. I'm here to share powerful insights from my own journey and bring you the wisdom of leading voices in branding and marketing from across the globe. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to scale, a student eager to learn, or a business seeking to elevate your brand, you're in the right place. Welcome, everybody. Today's podcast, there's a 100% chance of brilliance because we've got the co-founder of IconMaker, Sheryl Plouffe, with us today. Sheryl and her partners have propelled coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs to achieve 6- and 7-figure successes through high-margin programs and strategic podcasting. With over $3 million in client sales since 2023, Sheryl's leadership is transformative. Before entering the business world, she spent 2 decades as Canada's television anchor and executive at the Weather Channel. I checked out you were also a communications professor, so we'll chat about that a little bit. Today, she's here to share some valuable or invaluable insights on how can entrepreneurs effectively use podcast guest appearances to boost their visibility and questions around that. So, Sheryl, welcome.
Thank you, Nicholas. So great to be with you today. Yes, I have had so many different experiences in the media industry, and it's all now parlayed into entrepreneurship. Really excited to be on your show with you today.
And I've got to give a little secret here away to the audience. I, too, was a news and weather reporter.
Really?
But I didn't last long because I always used to say, "Partly cloudly," every single time by mistake. So that was in Cape Town, a very windy city where I did that. But Sheryl, you've obviously got a tremendous amount of experience dealing with hundreds of topics and meeting thousands of people throughout your career. So your face has been seen on television daily. How can entrepreneurs use podcast guest appearances to boost their visibility in a world where there's not just 3 television channels anymore?
If your goal and intent is to grow your business, and that is the reason why you want visibility, I think that, Nicholas, it starts with that determination of why are you doing this? Are you wanting to be a podcast guest for fun and for a hobby because it's of interest to you and you want to have a message that you share with other people? Or is there a strategy for how you build your business through the visibility that you would gain? But it's not just the visibility. It's really more rooted in the relationship that you build as a result of being on that show or being a guest on that podcast or any stage. Podcasts are one format, one type of stage that you can be on in order to gain visibility. But why? Visibility for what purpose? Visibility in front of audiences is great, but one of the things that we focus on at IconMaker is saying that it's actually about building high trust relationships. That is the foundation of what we teach because it's about going back to the basics in a world right now which is so saturated in many ways, and people are confused and overwhelmed, and they're doing every single tactic under the sun to try to grow their business. There's something to be said for coming back to the basics of good business principles, and that is building high trust relationships that will never go out of style.
I remember when I was working at Interbrand, one of the key drivers of leadership was to do thought leadership pieces, either by writing articles or getting onto radio or television stations to talk about a topic that they were specialist in. And you didn't necessarily get it the first time, but after the 5th call, they would start taking your calls, listen to you, and then out of nowhere become the go-to person for that particular topic. Is that something that you maybe teach? Because I'm sure a lot of folks try to get onto the type of podcast they want to or the type of media and get knocked down after the first time. They don't love me. They're not going to want me. I'm just going to give up.
There is something to be said for positioning yourself as an authority at your subject matter. And you definitely want to be doing that. When people are starting out as an entrepreneur, let's say a coach or a consultant, they've typically done so because they have garnered some type of expertise or they have a specific experience in a subject matter. So typically people aren't getting into being an entrepreneur because it just on a whim. It's because they want to harness some type of professional experience. Certainly that was my case. I came from TV broadcasting, and it was a natural progression to go from broadcasting into marketing and communications and media, because that's what I did. I realized that while I was a TV broadcaster, I was just building someone else's brand, not my own. But it was a natural progression to go in that area. We have to think about how we're building authority. It doesn't mean that you have to already be earning millions of dollars in order to be that authority. You have to start somewhere. Podcasting is a great place to start, and saying, hey, you know what, let's build a guest strategy so that I can go out and be connecting with other podcast hosts. You're getting in front of their audiences. But what often is lacking is most podcast hosts don't have the type of audiences, or certainly the number of audience members that you need in order to accomplish your 6 or 7 figure goals if your only strategy is to get in front of their audience. That's why we focus on build the high trust relationship between you and the host, because that's the conduit to helping you get either more patrons or prospects for your offer, platforms, meaning other stages to speak on, or more importantly, partners you can collaborate with, strategic alliances, network connections. That's the key to helping you grow your business. But yes, there is something to be said for positioning yourself as an authority.
Quite a few elements that you've just spoken about now are not something that happen overnight. These are processes that need to be consistently followed, like a regimen of some sort. When you're speaking to your clients and to people at workshops, do you tell them that to be an overnight success, you're going to have to do this for a period of time, that you're not going to get results immediately? I think that's one thing that frustrates people. They're expecting to explode tomorrow and get 1 million views. Getting 1 million views, which you have on a couple of your videos, is difficult.
We talk about that a lot with our clients and say you have to have clear expectations of what it's going to take to actually accomplish your goal. It isn't enough to just put a few posts on a Facebook page and cross your fingers, or I'm following a pattern of posting 2 inspirational quotes every day on my Instagram and hoping that that's going to help you propel your business and to grow your business. It simply is not enough. You have to have a strong strategy. One of the foundations to that is building up partners. If you can build up even 25 strategic alliances in your business, these are people that you could meet through podcasting, that those strategic alliances could propel more traffic to your workshops, or introductions through email to introduce you to people who might be prospects for what it is that you do. We think there's an opportunity around partnerships with referral partners to propel your business forward. We have a workshop that we do consistently every month, but we have over 200 partners that have raised their hand and said, we want to help promote what it is that you're doing. Now, not all 200 of our referral partners are actively promoting. It depends on their annual promotion calendar. We have someone who manages when they're promoting. It's because of the nature and volume of those referral partners that we're able to drive traffic organically to our workshop. So we're not having to be on the hamster wheel of social media dancing on TikTok in order to accomplish our goals. I think that's often an overlooked part of this. Coming back to answer your question, yeah, I think it's often more than what people think it ought to be on the surface. They've heard that all they need to do is post 3 times on Instagram every day. It isn't enough.
It sounds to me like you're saying that a podcast is only a platform. You've got to have all of the other elements baked into your business or strategy before a podcast strategy is going to work for you. And it's just the mechanism through which you're going to get to a larger audience or a different audience. How much time or planning should people maybe immediate their own business media strategy? Because a podcast is one channel, and then you spoke about putting posts on various channels. Is this something that you can spend 1 hour a week and then you've got a podcast plan?
Well, I happen to be someone who has embraced AI as a tool in our business. It is a tool you can use to help formulate a good strategy or a plan, or if you're working with a coach who can give you mentorship and advice around that, such as we do. I think that coming up with the plan is not necessarily a difficult or long process. The trouble often lies in the execution of that plan. The plan itself is easy to come up with, especially if we know it's proven, but it's the execution of that plan. It's the execution on, well, how is that going to fit in within my schedule, within my day? Again, if you're an entrepreneur who has a family, life will continue to happen around you despite your decision to become an entrepreneur. So you have to find ways to be able to execute on everything. I think that's where it comes into play. I also want to mention that when I'm speaking about podcasting and guesting or hosting, I'm speaking from the perspective of building a 7-figure business. My belief is that building a 6-figure business is not enough anymore. That's certainly a milestone that we all have to get to, but I see too many entrepreneurs who settle and think that's the end of the journey financially. No, it's like you want to blow past that so you can get to 7 figures and beyond, because that's where true freedom starts to come into play. Once you can get to 7 figures and beyond that is when true freedom starts to take root in your life and business. So everything that I'm speaking about today is more from a 7-figure perspective. But a lot of people haven't even reached the 6-figure mark yet, and a lot of these principles can apply to that.
I wanted to touch on that 6 to 7 figure quotation that you've got in your bio. What is the difference between a 6-figure and a 7-figure business in your head? You talk about blowing past those hurdles. There is a difference in mindset from just having enough to taking it to the next level. With your program, do you help people create better plans? Maybe talk to me through what IconMaker actually does, to where you're committing to helping companies who are, or entrepreneurs who are ready to take that step to get to 7 figures. That's the dream for a lot of businesses, and a lot of people don't know how to get there.
The majority of the clients we serve now are under 6 figures and very aspirational. They want to have a 7-figure business, which is why they're with us. We serve them for up to 2 years and guarantee results in the program in terms of we link payments to results. So people join our program, we link our payments to their results. It's a very unique approach in the coaching space. It's not just a guarantee, it's linking payments to results. $100,000 in revenue is a milestone in our view. You want to get to it as fast as possible. I was fortunate that in 2017, when I left broadcasting to start my own company, I was able to do that in the first year, largely because of high ticket offers. I started with high ticket. Thankfully, I knew enough to do that at that time, because that's something we believe in even now in our joint venture at IconMaker. If you haven't attained that milestone yet, the fastest way is with a high ticket offer, rather than an ascension model where you start with a $7 tripwire and get them into a $97 thing and a course and a program, and then ascending people to a high ticket offer. When I think about the folks we're working with right now who predominantly haven't reached that milestone yet, we didn't know this at the beginning, Nicholas, when we started IconMaker in 2023, that the mindset part is much more important than we now realize is much more important that we need to attack. And we're making changes to our program as a result of that. It's just this realization that your mindset and how you think about yourself and how you think about your expertise and how you think about your transformation that you're providing, there's so much that's going on between your ears. And I think when we started IconMaker, we thought that the people that would join our program would already have that dialed in, and that's become apparent to us that they haven't. So this is all just part of growth. It's part of entrepreneurship. You as a business owner have to recognize where people are at and then meet them where they're at and make changes accordingly. That's part of what you have to do as an owner, to understand what kind of help they need, especially in a program like ours where we link our payments to results. We're arm in arm with them to get results. We all benefit if they get results. Therefore, we must add more of those elements in. We have recognized that mindset is a much bigger component of what we ought to do, making changes to add more of that in. So much of this is about how you think of yourself. It's not just about sales and marketing. It's about your belief, your actual belief in your heart and in your head about what you're doing in the transformation you provide.
Yeah. I think one of the most challenging things for leaders or entrepreneurs is being able to articulate that internalized vision. From the first time I was asked, who is somebody that inspires you? What is your business about? I was a bit stuck. I didn't have a script. I just made it up as I was going along. I'm sure one of the things you train as well is to get your story straight in terms of having those stories on file in your head. That so if they ask you about your grandmother or if they ask you about your upbringing, that you've got a short, concise summary without you having to waffle and sound ridiculous. Now, I want to ask about what is your favorite type of client to work with? You say you've got quite a lot of aspirational clients, so clients who believe that they're going to make. Do you filter out your clients to say you've got potential, I can help you, or do you take anyone who comes? And is there a specific category of business or industry that you prefer working with?
We do screen and qualify. It's something that we do, but teach our clients to do as well in their programs. We believe in screening and qualifying, especially for high ticket offers, which is the premise of what we're teaching and doing. We're helping people build $10, $25, and $100,000 programs. They must screen and qualify people. It's not a case of just letting anyone in, because we're teaching a model linking payments to results. So yes, we screen and qualify 100%. My favorite people are the ones who are aspirational, but also have grit, resilience, commitment, and dedication, which is what I see within our group. I also love people who are not going to battle me or fight on every single point. Like people who are more willing to lean in and say, okay, I see this as a proven model. What I've been doing before wasn't working. I'm willing to try something new. I'm willing to lean into this. I don't know all the answers, but I'm willing to trust this process, because one of the things that we do in our program, we're not encouraging nor teaching our clients to create their entire program from the perspective of recording all the videos and creating all the worksheets and creating all of the assets yet. What we teach them to do is to build out a plan for transformation, and then we teach them to sell that, and then they build out the videos, worksheets, assessments, forms, and all of the assets that they'll need as they're actually working with real people on an ongoing basis. What we see too many times in the space is people who have been spending a whole bunch of time creating a course. People do this with programs too, where they spend 8 months, a year, getting romantic about what they think people want, only to find out that no one's buying that thing. They haven't taken the time to validate their idea or their concept before they spend all of that time, energy, and money creating what they think people want rather than asking and validating. Those are the people that I like. I like the people who say, you know what, this is a proven model. I can see what you're doing. I can see the results your clients have gotten. I want that. Let me lean into something new.
That trust works both ways. If you are giving out so much of this positive energy, it's quite draining if people are fighting against you. As a teacher, I feel that as well. You come up in the morning with such energy and excitement, and if there's a class that is feeling it or not listening to you, it does make you a bit miserable. But I've got a fabulous class this year, so I'm excited.
It does. The quality of your students does matter for you as a leader, for you as a mentor. You want to be excited about digging in and the people that you're serving, for sure.
There are two things I want to ask you. What is Sheryl's secret sauce in this business? I mean, to take a business to $3 million, that's pretty amazing. So how are we going to get you to an 8-figure business? I mean, 3 is close enough to 10. So what is Sheryl's secret sauce, and how are you scaling your business and using podcasts maybe to do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, to be clear, the 3 million plus is not revenue of our business. It's what our clients have sold as a result of learning from us. Our clients have sold more than, I think now, as of the recording of our interview here, I think it's sitting at 3.6 million in sales that our clients have done through our mentorship. But we are on track for 8 figures, and so we're really excited about that. What is the secret sauce? I think it's several things. One is linking payments to results. This is something I haven't always done. I didn't know about this strategy until I met my business partner, Tom. So there's Tom, Danella, and Sheryl, who are part of this joint venture. I learned this from Tom. And I had to hear it several times before it really sunk in. Linking payments to results. Okay, how does that work strategically? And once I got it, I realized, wow, that is revolutionary. Once we started to do it as part of IconMaker, we saw the results from the first 2 events that we hosted, where again, the majority of people have made less than 100,000 in their businesses, but were raising their hands for our offer. It made me realize we have a lot of good people out there who are getting caught up in tactics and don't have strong strategies. I think that's fundamentally what our special sauce is, coming at it from a different perspective around strategy rather than tactics, and also strategically linking our payments to results. I think it's also rooted in what I just shared with you a moment ago, this idea that we would help people to validate their high ticket offers before they start building out all the back end of those programs before they sell them. We would rather have people focused on map out the strategy or the transformation, the path for who you want to help, how you intend to help them, and how you'll link your payments to results to help them actually accomplish that. And then you sell the plan and you execute on actually working with people and you build out all that back end stuff. We, of course, help our clients to figure that part out. The videos, it's more of the logistics on the back end, right? The worksheets and other things can all be done, especially with AI now, Nicholas. With AI, creating all of those back end logistical assets can be done really seamlessly. So we would rather see people moving toward that path in that way. So I think that's really our special sauce. It's multiple areas, but all together, I think that's what makes us special in what we do.
It obviously sounds like you trust in your product, because if it's linked to sales and success and their revenue, I think that says to the potential customers that, hey, if this doesn't work, we're both in it for time and energy. So I think anyone who can do a model like that, where it is results orientated and results rewarded, it means there's something special there. And if you've managed to figure out how to actually monetize that and do it correctly, you're one of the few, because I've tried in my business as well in terms of how this project works and how much more money you make, etc. We'll do it on risk, basically. And it's so complicated to figure that out. So I'm very pleased that you've managed to do that. Yeah. Sheryl, where can folks get in touch with you to learn a little bit more about IconMaker and your offerings? IconMakerLive.com is a great place to go. We host workshops regularly. And we also have a Facebook group called Podcast Monetization System. And that is a great place to go as well if you're looking to dig in a little bit on some strategies as a host or a guest. We cover both. We have weekly live trainings, whether it's a live training that you can access through the Facebook group, or it is actually coming to a 4-hour deep dive workshop. Those are the two, I think, best ways to sort of get into our world and start hearing what it is that we're teaching and how we're training others to really be effective in building their business and scaling their business, whether it is to a 6-figure level, which again is a different strategy than scaling to 7 figures and beyond. But we look to tackle both angles of that, because we recognize that there are a lot of people who are struggling to get to that first milestone, but we want to blow past that so that we can really get to the 7-figure mark. Well, that's very exciting. So I'm going to put those links in the description so folks can click on those and try and join you at these events. And I hope they do, so that they can, again, as you've said, use the wins to blow past that 6 to 7 figure high mark. So Sheryl, it's been an absolute treat chatting to you. I certainly hope we can chat again on the 5 other questions that I had for you. We managed to get to the one, which is fantastic. But otherwise, we're going to be sitting here all day, and I want you to go out and help people blow past those 6 and 7 figures. Go do your work.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the thoughtful questions. I appreciate that.
that hits me right here. Thank you so much.